Do you ever feel like you just don't make a big enough impact? Maybe you go to church and the people you sit next to, you hear their testimonies and stories about what's God's doing in and through them and their families and people they know. And you feel like, I just can't have that same kind of impact. I seem insignificant. But I want to encourage you today that the small things, the insignificant assignments, set the stage for God to do something significant and impact your life and others in amazing ways. We look at the book of Acts, and here's all these testimonies that are rising up in the church. Peter preaches, 3,000 people get saved. Disciples, healing people left and right. Amazing. Philip leads somebody to Christ. God, through the Holy Spirit, teleports him to another location. That sounds awesome. And Paul, he's tearing it up. He's preaching in all these different cities and communities and people's lives being impacted. He's got these incredible stories. I've been stoned and I survived. I shipwrecked and I survived. I've been in jail. God's still using me. I raised a dead kid from death to life. I mean, that sounds amazing. Big, huge testimonies. But then there's this other individual, Stephen. And his impact was significant, but his title wasn't. What he did was not huge. He served. He was a waiter. He was called to serve the widows in the church, to wait on their tables. But while he did that faithfully, God began to move in his life. He began to have huge impact in serving right where he was. So much so that the culture at the time, the leader of the community he was in, they bring him and they basically put him on trial, and he has this opportunity to preach to them, to share the good news of Christ. In fact, it's the longest sermon recorded in the book of Acts, and it's from this waiter. See, you don't need a new assignment. You don't need to wait for something else. You don't need a different title. You just need to serve faithfully right where God has you today. Love on people, love on God. He can do great things in and through you right where you're at. Somebody is watching you. In fact, for somebody today, you're the best Christian they've ever met. That's a powerful thing. And that's a huge impact that you can have right where you serve. God has put you right where you're at for this season on purpose. You're right where you need to be with God. That's today's Ministry Minute.